Hello and welcome again to the Stouting Off podcast, where we spout off commentary on the everyday. Hello and welcome again to the Stouting Off podcast. I am your host, now and forevermore, Drew Stoutenberg, and joined live in studio as always by my producer, Jordan. Jordan, how are you?
Doing great, thank you.
Sounds good, man. Glad to hear it. We have our first guest feature today. I would love if you guys would welcome Lauren to the studio. Lauren, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thrilled.
Have I told you that lately? Thank you. Just straight up.
Thank you.
Lauren is a very close friend of mine, good friend of Jordan's as well. We all came from Michigan. We were all in the same youth group band, if you can believe that.
Mm-hmm.
One of my first memories in youth group band with Lauren was when she sang Misery Business by Paramore.
And Jordan was playing drums, and you couldn't really hear me because you could just hear Jordan playing drums.
That sounds about right.
But that was for the best.
Symbols.
Was that at youth camp? I feel like
it was just
at
Sunday
Velocity.
night youth group.
It was just at youth group, and right then and there, I was out in the audience taking it all, and I said, "Now that's somebody I really want to be friends with someday." And you know what?
You didn't say that.
And I said, "You know what? I'm making a bold prediction. 8 years from now, 10 years, whatever it would be, 13 years from now, we're going to record a podcast at my house in Nashville, Tennessee." And now here we are. It's full circle. This is how life works.
Never give up on your dreams, kids.
Truly, that's it. So yeah, thanks for being here. Lauren is a singer-songwriter and does some cool music things for film and TV. Mm-hmm. And also a solo career rather. Also has some solo records too, if you think about it. And her artist name is Fleury.
Yes.
It means blooming. It means like blossoming, blooming, flowering. Right?
'Tis true.
And that's French. And so now I'm bilingual. So that's cool.
Since becoming friends, I've become bilingual.
Yeah, just by proximity. It's that easy. Did you notice the screens? I have the window cracked over here.
I did notice the screens.
Yeah.
Tell us about the screens.
I thought you'd never ask. So I have lived in 2 homes since living here in Nashville. One of the hottest parts of the country, as far as I know, especially summertime. But even so, fall time and winter time can be warm too, to the point where at least you want to crack a window here and there. Am I right? You've lived here for 8 years now.
I've lived here for 8 years.
8 years. Recently celebrated her 8-year Nashversary within the past month or so, right?
Yes. September 20th.
What was your best year in Nashville? And then I'll get back to the screens. But do you have a best year or like a favorite year?
No, each one has gotten better.
Really?
Yeah, so...
Keep on getting better.
I know this has been a weird year, but it's been a good year still.
Overall, yeah.
Yeah, like my relationships in Nashville have become deeper. I've been writing like my favorite music I've ever been writing.
I've heard a couple snippets of the music. I gotta say, it might be your best yet. I don't know. I can't say.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
I hear voice memos, so I don't know the full what we're working with fully, but I can guarantee you there's a lot of potential.
There's potential.
There's potential.
It's good to know that I've got potential.
And speaking of potential, the screens on my house, like it's just crazy. So
the potential they have to block bugs is unparalleled in window treatments.
Yes, I've never seen anything like this. So I've lived in 2 homes, and when fall and winter rolls around, it's like mild here. So I'm like, man, it would be really nice to crack the windows. I go over to Jordan sometimes, and he's like, "Is it warm in here?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, no problem. I'll just crack the windows." I'm like, man, you don't even know how good you have it. You know, being able to open your windows.
So you finally got screens.
I finally got screens. I went to the screen store, and Sterling Window Systems right here in Antioch, which I believe is Antioch considered a part of Nashville?
Metro Nashville, yeah.
But it is its own city?
Yeah.
Okay. Went down to, the Nashville branch in Antioch. And so they said, "Here are your screens, buddy." And I initially went there 6 weeks ago, and they said, "Yeah, we've ordered your screens. Here they are." And they were the size of my windows. So it was like full-size screens. And he said, "Oh, this is really common. This is what most customers do." And I was like, "No, it's not. I guarantee it." When you go up and down a street and you're looking at houses, do you see screens covering the entire...
I've never noticed a screen on a house ever in my life.
I find myself now noticing screens. But you're right.
When you're driving down the street...
And, just one of those days where you're looking around at all the houses' screens. And, it's just a standard activity. But he gives me full-size screens. I'm like, what if I want to open the window? So, like if I want to open the window, that's great. But I'm saying, like, if I want to close the window, that part of the window that's closed still has a screen on it no matter what.
Yeah, the part when you slide the window up is like, it's never going to be opened.
That's
so,
it.
Yeah.
Thank you. You could see that I was struggling with that for some reason. So when you open the screen is there, but then when you close the screen's still there, and then so anyway, I have screens now, and you guys can't see it because it's off camera, but we have the window cracked right here. No bugs are getting in, and there's a light breeze.
It feels nice.
It feels nice.
Yeah.
I'm happy. So that was definitely a highlight of the week. Oh, another thing, speaking of home, I recently locked myself out of my house. I don't know how, but I want to rewind because when I first moved into this house, Lauren and her sister Jordan got me some fire pit stuff. A fire pit, marshmallow skewers, some fire log, like starters. A starter pack, really. It was a fire starter.
Don't get into the starters. Actually, let's get into the starters.
Okay, so
have you guys ever made a fire? And if so, have you ever used a starter? And if you have, they come in like little breakable pieces. So they're like perforated, right? It's like they're halfway cut for you to break off. And they're like little squares.
They're probably like 4 by 12. They come in these sheets.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. So 4 by 12, sure. They come in big sheets.
Estimate.
And they're little like 2-inch squares. And you just need one per fire. And I come over the other night for a bonfire with our friends, and Drew has like 6 in there, and I'm thinking, I paid good money for these. Why are you wasting them?
These are premier starters. But no, it was like I can't start. She's trying to tell me it's a 1 by 1 square or something is enough to get the fire starter.
It
Is that what you're still standing by that?
I'm standing by it because the next time I came over, you only used one, and we were fine.
I can't argue that actually
You
because I
proved
did.
my point.
I may have elongated. I may have gone 2 by 1. I may have doubled the.
Yeah,
but
it
either
wasn't
way,
like 6 by 1.
But
like
initially,
the
I was
other time.
doing the full sheet. It's like the size of a log you just put in there and just.
Probably like $10 worth of waste.
That's on me.
It's so on you.
So Lauren and her sister Jordan buy me this starter pack of stuff. Starters. It's included in the starter pack, but also marshmallow skewers, fire pit that goes on the ground. And it's nice. And then so I had some stuff out there from the fire pit the other night that I intentionally didn't bring back in. And 2 days later, I go out to my shed and I come back in and my door's locked somehow. I'm like, how on earth did this happen? Because there's no way it should have locked on its own. So I'm like, what the crap? I don't have my keys on me. My windows are locked because I don't have screens yet. So they never open. They're always locked.
They're sealed shut.
They're painted shut. And so the marshmallow skewers are out there. And I actually used a skewer to skewer my way into the house. And it's Jordan, I'm sitting like with the door closure mechanism, that part that it's like if you look at it from over top, it looks like a D kind of.
Yeah.
Goes inside the door when you turn it. I was able to get between the door jamb and that little D latch mechanism. And here I am. I've gained entry using a marshmallow
So
skewer.
you didn't even pick the lock. You actually just opened the door.
Yes. It's not a reliable door jamb. And actually,
you might want to get a new one.
that's so true. Because when I moved into this house, I noticed that the weather stripping around that door was like torn. I was like, I remember calling my dad and being like, Dad, I think somebody was trying to break into this house at some point. And now I know they just locked themselves. No, it wasn't. It wasn't me. It was somebody that locked themselves out of the house because that door just decides to lock. So lesson learned.
I have a bad lock on my front door too.
Really?
I only have one. I have 2 keys that work, and any copies I've made of those in the last like 2 years don't work. So if anyone loses my spare, then I don't have a spare anymore.
You just have the master key at that point?
Yeah, and my landlords have some.
Do you have a deadbolt for the door?
I do.
Deadbolt is most important from what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've heard. That just wonky little Mickey Mouse handle. Anybody can pick that and break your door down. Both. They pick it, they unlock it, and then they That's stupid. That's incredibly stupid. But it's perfect. At the same time, I have some topics. Oh, I wanted to touch on a couple things. One is that National Whatever Day, and I don't want to spend too much time on this. Over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, I feel like there have been National Blank Day on social media at least once a day.
At least 20 times a day.
At least 20 times a day. It's National Muffin Day. It's National Donut Day at the same time. It's National Goat Day, National Microwave Day. There's been, for real though, Daughter Day, I think, Sunday.
How come we've never heard of these when we were younger?
National Sunday.
National Sunday.
But it's spelled Sunday.
And it's on.
It's on.
It's on a Thursday or something.
Can't be on a Sunday.
good.
Everybody's
Why
just
is
like,
that so funny?
that's stupid.
Why didn't we ever hear of National Daughter or Sunday growing up? Did our parents hide it from us, or did they not exist?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was our birthdays.
Yes, that's it.
If I would have said this to my dad growing up, he would have gone, "Every day's National Daughter Day for you."
That's
True,
it. That's so
yeah.
true. That is a dad. That is
Yeah.
a quintessential dad comment or dad mentality.
Yep.
Dadtality.
It also was true. We had everything we needed. We
You did.
were loved.
You guys had an idyllic childhood. I felt
We
felt
had a
like.
very idyllic childhood.
Went on cool trips and
Yeah.
3 square meals a day. I lived off.
Wait, did you not eat?
I lived off snacks. Now, mom was always willing, but I
We lived off snacks too.
fair.
I didn't like eat the food that my parents put in front of me,
You
which was
preferred
terrible.
broccoli and spinach
I'm
and
like,
stuff.
I just ate like 3 little Debbie's brownies. I'm not hungry. My mom's like, why'd you do that?
I don't believe in spoiling your appetite, by the way. If something tastes good, it's always going to taste good to me.
Wow.
And if something tastes good, I'm always going to be hungry for it because I don't have a shut-off valve in here.
If your kids eat sugar and nothing else,
True.
like
True.
we did.
True.
Anyway,
When we went out for ice cream yesterday to Dickie's, or that wasn't yesterday, that was a few days ago. When we went out to ice cream, when we got the ice cream, Jude had like 2. It was yesterday.
he had what?
He had like 2 bites of ice cream. Did you notice that? I'm like, my guy.
Dude, he
We made
talks
this-
about this is him though. Like he'll be like,
Jude's a
I'm
3-year-old, by
hungry.
the way.
yeah, he's my 3-year-old son. I'm hungry. I want a snack. This is what I want. And I'll like get a bowl out for him and put it in there,
Oh,
and
no.
he'll eat 1 to 2 bites, and then he's done. Ice cream. We
Let's-
go to Jenny's.
We went to 3 spots.
You just get him a
We went to
sample
3 spots.
and you're done.
No, because he knows what
He
the
knows what a
difference
sample is.
Oh,
He's like,
my
you didn't pay enough for this.
Yep. But Dad, this didn't cost $8
Yeah.
like I deserve.
He knows.
Wow.
He's very particular in the way things look. Like he knows
He's keenly aware.
macaroni and cheese. He won't eat like a restaurant macaroni and cheese, but he'll
Wow.
eat Annie's macaroni and cheese.
Annie's is the jam.
He knows what's up.
We've talked about Annie's before. They do good. She does good work. That's what we said, I think. Just came out
What
naturally.
a gal.
Lauren, for a living, you do a lot of international travel and touring and stuff like this. And you've lived abroad. You've lived in Australia.
Yep.
Something came up the past week or so, and I noticed this, and knowing that you were going to be on, I was like, I got to save this to talk about you. And so it's this, because I've seen this before, and I recently saw it, and so that was the longest setup for anything ever, and here it comes. When Americans will spell, like, words that maybe like color or favorite that can occasionally have like a U in there, or like center, R-E,
Yes.
like
they
you
use
know,
the Commonwealth spelling.
use the Commonwealth spelling. I'm like, stop forcing it. Who are you trying to impress?
Yeah.
You see this? Do you know what I'm talking
and the
about?
thing is, I actually prefer those spellings.
It
but
looks nice.
I wouldn't write that. I wouldn't write like loving the fall colors, like with a U. Yeah. That's cringy.
Sometimes I've seen like where you went to school, like Hillsong. I know people who went to Hillsong, came back, and then when they pray, they pray with an Australian accent suddenly.
Me too.
Have you heard that?
Craig St. Clair.
Craig Sinclair, that's
What?
shout him out. He'd be like, God, we come before you today, God, and we just want to thank
It's
you for.
true though. That's the only time you truly hear the accent, like, because you're in church like every day of the week.
But Craig would just flip on when
oh my god.
he started praying.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's the coolest guy I know.
He was
He was and is. I was about to say
Nobody watching this knows. Our friend Craig, who basically came back from Hillsong when we were all still in high school, came and was a youth leader for a period of time. And we
Yeah.
were like, this dude is the coolest.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. No, he was
And
he
is.
was key. That's what I was about to say, and is to come, but that's stupid, and it's not even it. So
Yeah.
yeah. You know what I'm talking about though.
Yeah. And also when people, and I've been guilty of this
Let's hear it.
one time, and when it hit me that I was doing this, I was like mortified, so Australians add the letter R at the end of words that end with a vowel, and they take off the letter R in words that end in R. So, for example, the word banner, they say banana, and banana is bananer. Especially when there's a word following. So if it's like, man, like if I was going to say, I'm making a dessert with bananas and ice cream, they would say, I'm making a dessert with bananas and ice cream. And so there's a song by Hillsong called Hosanna, that's usually led by a girl, like it is on the recording. So I would lead it a lot in the time when it came out, and this was when I was like at Hillsong College. So I'd come home for Christmas, like be at our church that we all grew up in and be leading it, and I would hear myself go, I gotta try to do this. First two, I was fine, but it's the third one that leads through. So you're like, Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. And the day that I heard Hosanna in the highest come out of my mouth, I was like,
You're like, I don't know who I am.
I'm part of the problem.
I'm one of them.
But
Yeah.
you
That's
would
funny.
hear it so much.
Yeah.
You just get used to
Language
it.
is one of those things. Like I don't think I'm one of these types of people, and not to mention there aren't really too many Southern accents down here anymore because it's mostly transplant city, mostly tramp stamp city. You wouldn't believe how many you see down here. It's just it's.
Wait, you don't think people here have Southern accents?
I mean,
No.
you occasionally hear it, but I would say less than half of people here are from here.
I think
Right?
9
Yes.
of 10 people that I've met here are from Michigan.
That's true.
That's
Or
so true.
Florida or Texas.
Just
Yeah.
just flying south. But I'm saying like
Yeah, I got
people
you.
move to other places where they do have accents, maybe some parts of Canada or
Yeah.
the Northeast or whatever, and they'll pick up accents after being there for a year, 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
There is something to be said about that. Broca's area is actually the area of your brain that's formulates speech and accents and stuff. Broca's area, check it out. It's
I have
part
a
of your cerebral
question.
cortex.
Okay, so when we were at like Northridge in Detroit,
Yeah,
when
that's our church.
someone like Darren Whitehead would come
Mhm.
and speak, I'd be like, wow, this guy's captivating, right?
He's anointed.
and he's
he is.
obviously awesome,
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
home church here in Nashville.
yeah,
But like, if you guys go to a church where he's Australian, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
And
Everybody
he's got
is.
that accent.
Everybody
Yeah.
is true.
Does
Actually,
that
everyone
like does that like captivating kind of like feel go away after being exposed to that accent over?
I will say I like don't really hear the accent anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm still new enough to it. I've only been going there for a year and a half or so, but
And I've got
I feel like it
friends who
carries
are-
more authority for some
I've got
reason.
two close
No,
friends
true,
who are
though.
Australian, like two very close friends who are Australian, and I don't necessarily hear it in their voice,
Right.
but I do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Trent and Amy.
Trent and Amy
Yeah,
and Jordan.
They taught me this phrase, by the way, and not to go too. This is the last comment I'll make, but he'll say like, "Oh, I went to the store today, and you wouldn't believe it. They were selling mattresses for 50% off, Serta Pure Sleep," and he'd be like, "Actually?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And he-
Yeah.
fully. Like if he was telling me that,
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Fully." Fully and actually are
Yeah.
funny terms. I love it. It's endearing. But on the topic of abroad and travel and
Yeah.
other places, there's another thing I thought of recently. I was a pre-med like major in college, and I wanted to become a doctor because I thought I would have a good bedside manner and I would be good with patients. I would lose my patience with patients. Lose my patience. But until I was at the airport one day, getting ready to travel somewhere, it was probably to Japan or wherever, and the one time I went, and I was like, man, if I was a doctor, like I wouldn't remember exactly when
No,
that was.
I went.
And I was like, man, if I was a doctor, I'm watching these people walk by, I'm like, I would have to be like really comfortable, like touching all these people and seeing them naked. And,
Just doctors are just, come here, let me touch you. I'm like,
Just-
that's not what doctors do.
but you'd have to. If the job called for it, you'd have to be like,
You'd have to
all
touch
right,
it all.
I gotta. Let's take a stool sample, or
You
like
don't-
whatever. You don't take.
do
You
it
don't.
in front of you.
All right, we're taking the we're taking the stool sample. He's like, you can leave. I don't need you. No, trust me. I'm a doctor. I have to be here.
I have to make sure that it's really your stool. This is the absolute worst thing I've ever heard.
So anyway, you see all kinds of folks at the airport. Being somebody that travels, I mean, you know what I'm
Truly.
talking about.
Yes. I mean, people watching at the airport is unparalleled.
It's an international sport in many countries. It's not because it's judged.
It's in the Olympics this year.
It's in the Olympics. It's in the canceled.
Anyone who dares. No, I think the most interesting thing to watch at airports is people's airport outfit.
True.
Wow, let me say that again. The most interesting thing to watch, to take in at airports.
Is what they're wearing.
Yes.
The
is
choices that they
the
made.
airport outfit. And everyone has one or a few is their go-to.
Yeah.
I'm getting on a plane, this is what I'm putting on. And some people's choices are highly questionable.
To say the least. It's like you see, you've seen, like, we've talked about this before, people of Walmart, for example. Like, you see, like, what people will wear to Walmart, but then you also see people dressed in a double-breasted suit just to fly in,
a
like,
double-breasted suit.
a three-piece
Drew looks
double-breasted
at the
suit
guy,
with wings.
sir, why are you wearing that? He's like, I'm going to a funeral.
I'm sorry. I just was wondering why you made that choice today, sir, but no.
Man.
But he
Yeah.
also could be Ed Bastian. He could be the CEO of Delta Airlines, and he's just going to work and he's checking things out. So maybe if he was wearing a double-breasted suit and wingtip shoes and a vest, I'd be like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
I'll stand down.
Respect.
Respect, actually. And I follow you on LinkedIn. I really like your content. But
I follow you
But
on
you really
LinkedIn.
I do. Do you really zone in on what people are wearing?
I do. I've actually noticed in the last couple of years that tie-dye has made a mainstream appearance. And
Agree.
I'd like to say not 2 years ago, I called a merch company and said I want to do tie-dye t-shirts for like my artist merch. And they said to me, I don't even think they make them in adult sizes. Those are for kids soccer teams. And I was like, mark my words, the whole world will wear tie-dye again. And they were like, okay.
Look where we are, too. We should call them up and
Right
rub
now.
their nose in it.
We should ring
Call him right now.
at
we have that
11
technology?
p.m.
It's like phone a friend and whose line is it? Or whose line? Who wants to be a millionaire?
Phone a friend, and whose line is it anyway? I
Oh,
can't think of any.
man.
Do you have any good topics for this?
Man, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was a vibe.
It was awesome.
I was obsessed with it.
I watched John Carpenter when he won. He was the first person to win $1 million. I watched it live. John Carpenter.
Did you guys ever watch The Weakest Link?
Yeah.
Yes. It was too ruthless for me, though.
Or what's the roulette one? Was it just Russian roulette?
No, I don't know the roulette one.
The
I remember
roulette
Weakest
one is
Link.
where like you literally your seat drops out and you like fall into like a foam pit or something,
yeah.
but like you don't know what basically like they spin.
It's
you
just pure chance.
You have to spin if you lose a question or
Oh,
something, and
okay.
then whatever the light falls on, like if it's on someone else's chair, it doesn't do anything. But if it falls to your chair, then you go,
Then you go.
and that's how you leave the show. You literally
Bye.
just drop.
You get nothing and you fall through the floor. Jordan, are you finding that?
Was it red or black?
No, it was something about roulette.
It sounds like roulette.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it does.
work on that one, Jordan.
Red or black doesn't sound like roulette.
I think it might have just been called Russian roulette.
Could have been.
That doesn't sound like a roulette wheel is not black and red. That's great. Yeah, but no, to your point, when I go to the airport, I am either comfy guy, like what I'm wearing now. I don't like to like dress down though, because I don't like I like the feeling of a bit of fortitude with my jeans, because I don't want to
Fortitude.
it's like a bit of a barrier between me and the seat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would fortitude be the right word? I think
I
so,
don't
right?
know. But I'm trying to think
The-
of
the
what
what?
other like thin pants you would
No, I'm saying
have.
like if I was gonna wear some like joggers that aren't sweats, I have just like some polyester
Oh,
joggers.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't wear that, although
Yeah.
they're the most comfortable pants I own. But I like a little bit of
Yes.
a layer, protective layer,
Yes.
if you will. So I'll wear like
Understood.
this, what I'm wearing now, in a hoodie or something. Or if I'm feeling cool, I'll wear skinny jeans and like no show socks. Here we go, some cool sneakers,
Wow.
and I'll just ball out, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? What do you wear? What are your go-to looks?
I've got the main go-to is just basic black leggings, giant sweatshirt,
Sure.
you know, some kind of like tank underneath that I'm like, I'm going to change out of this when I get there because I just feel gross.
Yeah,
Um,
it's fair.
but I have my best airport outfit was probably last year. I randomly just went for the full rainbow tie-dye. There was a lot of pink.
You
there
went-
were unicorns. There was a Lisa Frank thing.
You went full blast.
I did that day. I was feeling it. I don't remember where I was going. And I get up to the entrance to security.
Yeah.
And the guy at like scanning the passports and everything
Yeah.
goes, "Unicorn girl, please come forward." And I was like, I've self-actualized.
Here we go. This is it. I've reached a new level.
Yeah.
I've unlocked something new.
Yes.
That's sweet. What would See, unicorns, I don't know. I've just never identified with them.
Okay, I have a theory about this that I've
Okay.
been wanting to discuss with someone.
Let's hear it.
Because yesterday I was at my friend's house. She has a daughter who's like almost a year old. And she said, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm tired of unicorn stuff. Like, it's
Ooh.
been unicorns for years. And we were all pumped about it in like 2016 when it came out or
Unicorns did have a coming back party, I feel like.
Yeah.
Around 16.
I think so.
I'm fact checking it live.
That's
Well,
when I
sounds right.
remember like getting a unicorn balloon for my birthday that I still have in my room. You know those Mylar balloons? They
Yeah.
like never die
Yeah.
if they're sealed properly.
Yeah.
It's still perfectly good.
After a few years?
It's small and it's on like a little wooden dowel, so it's on my bulletin
That's
board.
tight.
But anyways, so she says, I'm kind of tired. It's just like unicorn everything for little girls. So I have a theory that I developed last night.
You've been wanting
Which
to
is
tell
this?
somebody.
Tirelessly
Which is this?
toiling with the idea.
Over the course of the last few years, the world has more and more become enamored with the supernatural and things that are beyond like this world in general. And also, I don't know if you guys know this, but in the UK, their national, like, or I guess I don't know if it's national, but they're
Sure.
outside the palace, like Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
There's 2 statues. There's a lion and a unicorn, and the
Ooh.
unicorn represents Christ.
Mm.
Because they believe that he was like,
Yeah.
man and God. So it was like a horse, but also like beyond that.
Yes, yeah.
And so it's still to this day, it's their like national symbols on their crest and everything.
Dang, I
And
didn't
so
know
I
that.
feel like there's this like subconscious or unconscious, like
Yeah.
leaning towards, even in children,
Like
like
otherworldly
fantasy.
thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
like things that are like, we're like, I feel like there's more out there than what we see, and I'm grasping at it.
Yeah, you know.
That's my deep, deep thing for unicorns.
I want. Speaking of
Little
unicorns
girls are like, I just like pink and purple.
and flying horses.
Yeah.
Unicorns fly, right? I've also noticed along those same lines, like these like horoscope Instagram accounts have become really popular too.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, there's
Because
kind
people
of
want to believe that like literally there's this whole like destiny that's written in the stars for them
there's
and all this
there's
stuff.
purpose and there's destiny.
There
yeah.
is destiny written for them, but
It's not.
it's not by
You're not gonna find it in
Judy
the
at
stars.
horoscopes.com.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Also, side note,
Yeah.
in Harry Potter, unicorns bleed silver blood. And I love that so much. Sorry.
That's right.
I love that so much.
That's
because
pretty cool.
even their blood is like not haunting. Like it's beautiful.
It's still
Silver.
And
it's
if you
pure.
get like, they'll put like a unicorn, one of the, like their hair, you know, from
the
mane.
tail. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like one strand, I guess, of like
Oh,
the mane or
okay.
something. It will be like in a wand, like it has magical powers, whatever. But
Oh, that's sick.
it's very special.
Speaking of horses,
Oh,
this
no.
is unrelated. You guys don't know this. I haven't shared this with anybody. My dad.
I'm nervous.
So here's what my dad went up north with the family dog, and he called me the other day. He's like, Drew. Everything is like really important and cool and like exciting with him. He's like, Drew, you wouldn't believe it, man. I'm up in Amish country with Elliot, the dog, and I'm up in Amish country with Elliot. He's like, Drew, I'm not kidding. I went by one of their stands yesterday. I got a quart of apple cider for $1.50, man. And you know what? I'm going back for more today. I'm like that. Like he was so pumped on it. The reason I brought up that up with horses was that he's like, man, Drew, these guys out here, they take care of these horses. They're beautiful creatures. I'm like, yeah, it's because that's their tool. Like that's their transportation. It's their workhorse. It's like it's everything for them. He's like, they just take care of their stuff. That was his line. That was the whole thesis of the conversation.
Is your dad Batman? Like
He
low
sounds
key?
I almost want to pull up. Dude, I can find this.
The fact that your dad was taking Elliot for a little weekend getaway, though.
They take little weekenders together. They go camping.
Let me touch her a little bit.
Used to-
Right. You know, just kind of scratching her back. Just kind of
All right, maybe that's a little personal. He was talking about. He was recapping a date, and I was unknowing to him. I was. No, he was saying like, you know, and I was like scratching her back a little bit at the bar.
Why
And, you know,
did
we're
you
getting
play that?
his voice. I was trying to get his voice. We're keeping that. Let me see.
Oh my gosh.
couldn't help it. Anyways, walk into the dart room.
You know, he's got that tone. He's like, you know, and I'm walking into the dart room, and it's just. But when he gets excited, he goes low. He's like, man, and I'll tell you what, Drew, I took one of those darts, man. I just threw it right in the bullseye. This is it. This is how he talks, dude. Anyway, it's unreal. Enough about my dad. Love you, Dad.
Oh my god.
Long time listener to the podcast. Is he? I don't know if he listens. He texts me that he likes it, but that he could just be tuning in for 5 minutes. So if he's listening to this point, Dad, text me if you get to this point, and I'll
Is the
report back.
podcast Cheryl approved?
Cheryl loves it. In fact, so Cheryl's my mom. She will she'll text me the day after, like the day that it comes out, and be like, well, actually, Drew, it was your dad who took you to Jurassic Park, which that was one of the things I brought up. Another time was,
She's fat correcting.
yeah, she's like, yeah, like totally checking me on everything. And another time she was like, Drew, it was different. It was a different time back then. Not, most kids didn't wear helmets on their bikes. Like, I'm like, Mom, I wasn't calling you negligent, whatever. So I love you, Mom. You don't even need to text me because I know you're listening
I
to
love
this point.
you, Cheryl.
Yeah,
But text him still.
but still text me. Love to hear from you. Sweet Lauren, as she calls you.
Cheryl.
Lauren's mom and my mom are like really close friends, and they hang out and talk, and they do Bible studies together. My mom will say that she's like,
Their stories are different, though.
really? Is that right?
No, go ahead.
They'll
Say
go
what you say.
like my mom will go over to their family home, and she'll stay there for 4 or 5 hours talking, just talking, sitting and talking.
Which is nothing in our family. Like, I've never had a phone call with either of my parents less than an hour.
Wow.
No, I'm not kidding. Jordan, my sister, told me
Yeah.
yesterday. She's like, yeah, talk to Mom and Dad for 2 hours, then get out with my friends. And I was like, what's wrong with us? Like, we have a problem.
That's wild.
But my mom, because I said
Yeah, what'd
that
she
to her,
say?
I was like, Mom, Drew said that Cheryl was over there for like 4 or 5 hours doing Bible study. And she was like, I think it was like 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half.
20
I was like,
minutes.
I'm like, Mom, you have no concept of time.
Time flies.
Yep.
Yeah, my mom. Yeah, I just don't know how can you talk for that long? She'll go to a restaurant with her friends and stuff, and like sit and talk. Close down the restaurant.
It's girls have this thing.
For 3 hours in a booth at a restaurant. I'm like, I get antsy.
Yeah.
It's because
my
anything
butt gets
that
hot.
gets
I'm
brought
like ready to
up,
move.
Girls want to go to the deeper level.
That's
so if
true.
somebody says, oh my gosh, like this crazy thing happened, then we're all like, whoa, back up to step number 1. Why were you in the car with him?
There you
And
go.
then they're like, well, and we're like, this is something you do. And then it's like an intervention.
That's so true. With guys, it's just like, yeah, this crazy thing happened. Oh, really? Well, what are you going to do about it? I don't know. I'm probably just going to call her back and see what's up. Okay, cool. All right, so do you want to go catch that movie later? You want to go?
Catch that movie.
That's not even a thing that
Girls
people
are
do.
like, I feel like this might be hard for you to hear, but
Yes, exactly. I'm going to tell you something right now, and trust me, it's going to hurt to say, and it's going to hurt to hear, but it's for your betterment, okay?
you don't value yourself enough. You are amazing.
That's it.
I feel like
And
guys
then
are like
the
this.
tears start.
Guys are like, this crazy thing happened to me, and it just hurt me so bad. Blah 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 blah. Oh man, that sucks. So anyway,
Or it's like, it's this thing sucks, and man, well, maybe you should just call her and like talk to her. I'm sure she didn't mean it, and then it's just like, okay, I feel better. So anyway, what do you guys want to do later? You want to catch a movie?
So good.
I need to. Have you been to Dickie's Barbecue Pit?
I have not.
Okay,
But I know you have.
I have recently, and many times in the years leading up to this moment in my life. But they just do some wonderful barbecue, and honestly, it's on a budget. Like we've talked about before, you can get a full plate there of delicious barbecue. It's fresh. You like pulled pork, right?
I could take some right now.
Oh my gosh, it'd be great.
same.
We should. Oh my gosh, we should do
Are
an
they
episode.
open?
No.
I was like, we could just pause.
Wait, if they're open, we're done, and we're just gonna go. Next time you're on the show, let's have a live. We'll have like a little, just some.
I don't want to eat on camera.
No, it'll just be there.
We'll do the podcast at Dickie's.
Yes. Anyway, Dickie's Barbecue Pit, with every meal plate, you get one of these yellow cups. So go, and they're useful.
What a steal.
Well, yeah, truly. Are you enjoying sipping out of that, by the way?
Loving it.
Yeah, it's great. So am I. I want to go into, man, I have a couple topics
We
I
have
want to
so
talk
much
about.
to discuss.
One of the things is that I know that you love Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, have been a long time.
I love the Olsen
I
twins.
know. This is one of the things I
love them.
it got brought up one time, and she's like, yeah, I love them. I'm like, yeah, they're cool. She's like, no, I know. I follow them to this day. Like, do you know about their Instagram accounts that don't exist, but their fan accounts, whatever. I went through, and I wanted to do kind of a deep dive into
Oh my gosh.
Mary-Kate and
Grace.
Ashley. So maybe just if you know any of this stuff already,
Mm-hmm.
just let me know. If you don't know, still let me know.
Okay.
Thought I had to burp, but I don't. But I do have to voice crack, so it wouldn't be an episode without one. They're fraternal twins.
Yes.
So what's the difference between identical and fraternal?
Fraternal twins are 2 eggs, both fertilized separately,
Oh.
different sperm. Identical twins is 1 egg fertilized splits
Okay.
into 2.
Okay.
So identical DNA
Yeah.
versus the other 2 have like different DNA.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know, actually. That's probably in one of my physiology books down there.
I have friends who just had identical twins, so we like went over
You're versed on this right
Yes.
now. It's fresh.
Yeah.
So they were born in Sherman Oaks, California. Don't know what part of California that is. They have an elder
It's
brother.
like LA.
They have an older brother, Trent,
Yeah, Trent. Sorry.
and a younger sister.
Lizzie.
Yeah, actress
she's
Elizabeth.
an actress. You would have know her if you saw her.
Yeah,
Okay.
Elizabeth Olsen is like,
Yeah, you've seen
As
her.
well as a half sister,
Oh, I don't know her.
Courtney Taylor, and a half brother, Jake.
Huh.
The twins' parents divorced in 1995. Taylor and Jake are from their father's second marriage. The Olsen twins have blank, blank, and blank ancestry. Do you know the answers?
Oh, like they're
Yeah, they're like English,
Swedish,
close, Norwegian,
Norwegian. I knew it was Scandinavian.
and Danish. Yep.
But Olsen, like you just know that because that's like Scandinavian.
Oh my gosh! In 1987, at the age of 6 months, the twins were cast in the
Yeah.
role. 6 months old,
Well, yeah, because they were the new babies on Full House.
which I never watched. And
So
that's
you
on
know
me.
that on TV shows, like whenever there's a very young character, they get twins, right? Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't. But I did know that
But they
they did
tried
that in
to.
Big Daddy with Adam Sandler. That
Mhm.
that little boy
The
was.
Sprouse twins have
Yeah.
played on different shows as the same character, so that if
Okay.
one kid is like not in the great
Yeah.
mood or whatever,
Yeah,
like
they can just swap them out.
Mhm.
It's like risk mitigation kind of. You just
Yep.
kind of
And they actually, I remember reading deep into this, like
let's go.
as a child. I've loved them since I was little. And they were saying that they actually ended up using like each twin for specific moments. Like Ashley was
Okay.
more shy, so when they had like a shy scene, it
Yeah.
was like she's gonna be this.
Or
And-
like you can cry better on command, or you can
Yeah.
be like your laugh on command,
Yeah.
command is more sincere.
yeah,
Man, that's wild. It would be wild to be a child star.
right.
Like all things considered, they turned out really like successful, and
Yeah.
I won't say like normal in the sense that
Yeah.
but they are normal in the sense that their head is on straight. They're just
Yeah.
unique in their own right.
But they went through their phases.
Oh, fair.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's get to it. In 1995, following the end of Full House, the Olsens made their first feature film in It Takes Two, starring Steve Guttenberg and Kirstie Alley. Kirstie Alley, now that's a name we should go into. I haven't heard that name in a hot minute. Steve Guttenberg was in The Big Green. I'll tell you that much, which that was a frequent movie in my house. I should get Disney Plus just to watch the
That was a great movie.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, in early 2004, they did some. They had a fan club until early 2000. Mary-Kate and Ashley's Fun Club. Were you in it?
No.
Where fans would pay to receive Mary-Kate and Ashley
I wish I
collectibles.
was.
Each subscription included an issue of Our Fun Zine. Is that the magazine?
Not the same one.
Okay, Mary-Kate and Ashley Fan Club T-shirt, whatever. Cool. Man, as I look at this thing, their filmography, they were in 1, 2, 3. I'm estimating here, but it's going to be about 23 movies in total. And this filmography is only as the twins as a duo, too. Like all these.
Mary Kate has featured in another movie on her own, and Ashley never has.
And it flopped, didn't it?
wow.
It was
what happens
like
when
a
you step out.
teen thing, and she was like a random witch, but it wasn't a movie about witches. She was just like the only witch who
Oh.
just kind of like cast a spell on like a girl to go back in time or something, but it was
Hey.
weird.
Weren't they in Weeds?
I don't know.
I didn't watch Weeds, but let me pick up my papers.
Also, I know you were referencing this before because I've told you this before, but
Yeah.
I have one copy of Mary Kate and Ashley magazine, of which there were only a few copies. And in this issue, my friend got it for me from cleaning out her parents' house in Florida. There was a one page where it said like each of them talked about their favorite album of the year. I think it was the year 2000. And Ashley's favorite album was Parachutes by Coldplay. And I was like, I've known we were soulmates, but this confirmed it.
Now, for those of you who don't know Lauren, Coldplay's biggest fan, like maybe, right? Like,
Yes.
again, we've talked about this before. You're not somebody who is very like charmed by fame. You're not too enamored by people. reputation and platform and all this stuff. But if you were to meet Chris Martin, what would you do?
It wouldn't go well.
Right.
I sincerely hope it doesn't happen unless somehow we're peers.
Yes.
I never want to meet him unless he knows who I am.
I'm going to say it right now. One day you guys will collab. He will
don't
feature on
even.
one of your tracks.
Stop.
Does he do features? If not, you'll feature on one of theirs / his. But anyway, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen now, as I just grabbed from that summary that I threw down on the ground that I almost need to pick back up again. Now they're doing fashion stuff. So
Big time.
big time, right?
Yes.
Like they
Huge.
have a line, right? Like
they
a
have
brand.
multiple brands.
Oh,
And they're all
have one brand,
highly
right?
successful.
they were doing a Walmart or maybe a Kohl's
Yeah.
brand or something
That
for
was
like
like when they
girls.
were little.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Cool. I guess I should read those notes that I just threw on the ground carelessly. I hope they start acting again. Maybe they'll.
They won't.
Wasn't there going to be a reboot of?
A Full House there was, and they refused to be in it. And
Oh.
everyone broke the fourth wall during the first episode to like acknowledge that they weren't in it. They were
Really?
like, Michelle is in New York doing fashion, and like they all turned.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Hey.
Rajiv was in that.
Oh my gosh, he
Rajiv-
was.
Rajiv, do you know
I
Rajiv?
forgot.
Oh,
about
this was
that.
Fuller House, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
come to
Fuller
think-
House.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I thought they
our
were.
friend Rajiv.
Yeah, Rajiv is also.
He was like in a cast or something, right?
He was like a boyfriend of
He
somebody.
was a boyfriend of somebody.
Rajiv Dahl. He's a great guy. He's from our hometown as
Yeah.
well. Our little hometown, like actually popped out some people
Yes.
of artistic
Okay.
accomplishment.
I will say this: growing up watching One Tree Hill and shows like that, where
Yeah.
they were like in this random small town, and everyone went on to have this like crazy career and
Yeah.
all this stuff. I thought that was normal because that was our town. Like
Yeah.
everyone was like, "I'm doing this thing," and then
Yeah.
they just did it.
Yeah, I think
True.
about you. I think about Rajiv. I think of Bazzy. He's from our
Yeah.
hometown. I think of me with the Stouting Off podcast. Are you kidding me?
Jordan,
Jordan, yes, Jordan. Me and Jordan with the podcast. We're
Ryan.
global. People all over the world. Paul Cherry, he's doing his own thing. So and he's on a picture back there. We'll show you guys sometime. But
I never met Paul Cherry.
really,
hmm
he's one of the funniest people in the universe.
I met the other half of PK Fire.
Kurt,
hmm
good guy. I don't know if he listens to the podcast. If you do, shout you out, Kurt.
Hey, Kurt.
Um,
Sad I never got your grandma's organ.
was that a deal that you?
Instrument.
Kidney.
His grandma was giving
We weren't the
away an
same blood
organ,
type.
and he was like, "I have a guy who wants it, but stop."
I've played on that organ before.
And my dad was gonna go pick it up, but I guess the other guy didn't end up bailing.
Oh, that was only a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, you don't know me, but I used to come to your shows." And he was like, "Tell me they weren't my PK Fire shows." I was like, "They absolutely
I
were."
remember. I played on that organ before. It was like detuned. It was out of tune.
Oh well.
So you didn't need it.
I dodged
You're better
the
off
bullet.
without it. Man,
Okay.
we're already running out of time.
Oh no.
We're already almost like at time.
Well, keep going. What else did we have to talk about?
I got a couple topics. Let's
Yeah,
see.
keep going.
I feel like we've gotten some good stuff.
I do too. We've gotten some nice banter. And now, bear in mind, you're going to be back too. This is to be continued. TBC.
I'll be back.
This is going to be part 1. I want to do my last segment. What have I been watching? What have I been watching? I recently got into this documentary. It's not a series, so I didn't get into it. I just watched it. How we say things matter, folks. I watched this documentary called Tread on Netflix. You guys haven't seen it, have you?
Mm-mm.
No.
It's about this guy in this small town, Granby, Colorado. How far is that from Denver, Jordy? I thought he was typing. I heard him typing, and for some reason, I made the assumption that he was
I
typing.
was on Google Maps.
Not like
that he was
How
typing.
far is that away from here? Let's see.
Jordan's like, we could be there in 17 hours. You guys waiting in the car.
I just hear chick, 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 and I assume in my mind for a snap second it's Denver, Colorado to Granby,
You
Colorado.
should get an intern to just sit in the corner and fact check.
Yes, that
A
would be
Belmont,
amazing.
like TV media intern.
It would be fantastic. You know what? Once we get to our next milestone, which we have this certain number of plays per month that we're trying to hit, when we do, we're going to get an intern. I think
You
we'll have enough.
should.
Yeah.
1 hour and 47 minutes.
Okay.
I'll be the intern right now.
It's a day drive. A small part of it, 1 day drive. Very.
Some people commute that far every day.
I meant it's a day walk. So he's in. This guy's in Granby, Colorado. He's this classically trained welder, and by that I just mean he's a trained welder. Went to school and everything. Are you enjoying that, Jordan? So he starts a muffler shop, and this muffler shop gets really successful. And then the bad boys around town, like it's a small town, so it's political and stuff. And, you know, they have the guys who run the town. They are also on the city council board and stuff. And so they get the zones rezoned. They read the zones. And so they do that so that, like, his business, he either has to pay an exorbitant amount of cash or he's got to just leave town. And so instead of leaving town, what he does is he buys a bulldozer, and he fortifies it. Again, I'm using that word. He fortifies it with steel, so it's like a tank. And because he's a welder, right? He can do these things.
He fortifies it with mufflers, just stuffed bottle.
They're all just like pointing off.
It's just a big muffler mobile.
Channel 7 Action News on site here. It looks like a very large vehicle made primarily out of mufflers is driving about town. So anyway, he takes the steel bolt enclosed bulldozer, and he goes through the town and bulldozes all his rivals' businesses.
Literally. This is a true story.
Actually did this. Yes,
Oh my God.
fully. Yeah, he did this.
Did anyone die?
No one died, no one got hurt, but it caused millions and millions and millions of dollars of damage.
Millions and millions and millions.
Our friend Will does the best Donald Trump impression. It's unbelievable. I won't even try to do my impression of his impression. But anyway,
Yeah.
Tread on Netflix. It was unbelievable. I won't give you the ending. I won't spoil it for you. He dies.
That's what you always say. He always says, I won't give the ending, and then it's like, but.
With that being said, he dies. And so, that reminds me one more thing, and then we'll go.
Okay.
Wasim Bazzi, a good friend of ours, not related to Bazzi, rapper guy, but he would go up to people when the Book of Eli came out, and he'd be like, "So, have you guys seen the Book of Eli? Pretty good movie, huh?" "No, we haven't seen it." Well, he's blind the whole time. So anyway, we'll see you guys later. And that's like one of those details that's so important. It's like you find out in the last minute, you know? It's like, wow. But anyway, that's all for What Have I Been Watching? Dara Sneed with the run on that. It's just beautiful. But Lauren, I wanted to say thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
The maiden voyage with the guest host format, and it's been really nice. You were the perfect candidate for the job. So
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you for accepting our invitation. Jordan, would you agree that she's just been a delight?
Truly. Yeah, perfect.
A delight.
She's been a delight. Check out Lauren's music. She's Flurry, like we talked about earlier, on Spotify and anywhere you can consume music, and on Instagram and all the things. So, as always, thanks for watching the Stouting Off podcast, where we spout off commentary on the everyday. See ya.